I live in a 4-bedroom family home which I heat to 20 degrees. I drive nearly 15,000 miles each year. I'm constantly putting on loads of washing, and like most of us, I enjoy a good cooked meal every night. So you might think my energy bills add up to quite a bit. What if I told you they weren't just free, I actually had a negative energy bill of £404 in 2025. Not only that, but this year it's projected to be more like negative 700, 800, or possibly even better than that. How can this possibly be the case, you might be thinking? Since moving in, I've set out to add key pieces of sustainable tech: solar, home batteries, a heat pump, along with my electric vehicles. Each one of these technologies can be great in isolation, but each one has a weakness. What I'm here to explain today is how combining these renewable energy solutions can overcome their individual weaknesses and create a truly cohesive home energy ecosystem which can save you thousands every year, increase your energy independence, and enable you to adapt to any future tariff changes. This is all about how everything fits together as a complete package, how going all in on renewable energy can be greater than the sum of its parts, giving you freedom, control, comfort, and value. My heat pump's total running costs for the last 12 months add up to £178. That's 33% of the gas equivalent. That includes all hot water and heating for 20 degrees during the day and 19.5 overnight. The hot water in the summer months cost me 10p per day. The most expensive month so far has been January at £37.70. This isn't a testament to my heat pump's own efficiency. There are many out there with more efficient heat pumps than my own. This was achieved as a result of combining with the right smart tariff, the battery storage, and solar capacity. More than 99% of energy usage over the last 12 months has been at off-peak rates. If needed, in the summer, I could avoid any grid import whatsoever for a whole 4 months without limiting my lifestyle one little bit. My solar panels produce enough energy to offset 1.9 metric tons of CO2, the equivalent of planting around 80 trees. My vehicle mileage costs just under 2 pence per mile. The list goes on. These are some of the benefits of an all-electric household. How can this be achieved? In 2023, I moved into a regular new build property. It didn't have any standout eco-credentials besides a reasonable standard of insulation. Over the last 2.5 years, I've added key pieces of renewable energy tech: solar panels, home battery storage, more solar panels, a heat pump. I've combined them layer over layer in a way which allows each piece to complement the others, along with utilising smart tariffs in the best possible way to achieve savings well in excess of £3,000 each year. Let's explore how I made this happen, starting with solar. Solar panels. Their primary function is to produce electricity. I have 32 panels in total, which is fair to say is more than most. Here in the Northern Hemisphere, a south-facing system is considered optimal. East and west facing systems are also effective, producing around about 75% of the performance of a south-facing system of a similar size. North-facing systems, not so effective, but still you can manage to gain around about 50% of what a south-facing system might do, depending on the pitch. Not so great in winter, but in the summer months they're surprisingly effective. I have a mixture of orientations, and the expected generation is around about 10,700 over the course of a year. In 2025 we're actually 1,000 up on that, despite the final phase coming online in May. Such was the strength of 2025. It was an incredible year for solar. Now, typically larger systems provide better value, as much of the installation costs comes from logistics, roof access, labour, and not just the materials themselves. There are variances based on system type, location, pitch, and other factors, but a good rule of thumb is an unshaded, south-facing 5 kilowatt array can typically provide approximately 5,000 kilowatt hours of electricity per year. It varies, but as a ballpark figure, such a system might cost something in the region of 7,000 to 8,000. You can sell excess generation too. Octopus outgoing is a popular export tariff at 15 pence regardless of the time of day, but there are other options depending on your chosen smart tariff. The important thing is excess generation can make you money, so don't worry about having to use every single last drop of electricity it creates. As I alluded to earlier, each of these technologies has a fundamental weakness. For solar, shade can be an issue if your property is overlooked by larger objects such as trees, lampposts. larger nearby properties even. That's going to be more of an issue in winter when the sun is low, but daily and seasonal variation creates some unpredictability. A sunny day might be worth 5 times more than a cloudy day. A summer's month might outgenerate a winter's month by a factor of 5 or 6. My monthly solar generation updates have plenty of examples of this. But most fundamentally, however, the biggest weakness of solar power is they don't function at night. While they don't always require direct sunlight to function, they do need daylight. This is where a home storage battery can be used to fill in the gaps. If you come home from work on a winter's night and want to cook dinner after sunset, the solar power won't otherwise help you, but with a battery, that energy can be stored and used at that point in time. That's precisely what a home storage battery is all about. It stores energy, be that home generated or from the grid, to use when you need it. It allows the practice of arbitrage, the ability to buy in cheap and sell high if your tariff rate varies. Here are some things to consider. Capacity is likely to be the first and foremost consideration on everyone's mind. How much can it store? It is an important consideration, but remember, it needn't necessarily last the whole 24 hours. Being able to go from one off-peak time frame to the next is the goal. On one particular day, I managed to use over 90 kilowatt hours within a 24-hour time frame without using any standard or peak rate energy. My battery capacity is only 27 kilowatt hours. Larger capacities give you options, but load shifting, which is the practice of using more energy at off-peak time frames, can save you the need to go as big on the battery as what you might think. Charge and discharge rate is determined by the inverter size the battery sits behind. Be aware of the limitations versus your own maximum usage. For example, if you have a 5 kilowatt max continuous discharge, you might regularly use 7 kilowatts at a set point in time, maybe around dinner time. The excess 2 kilowatts there would come from the grid, which ideally you don't want. So understanding your own usage habits there is key in determining the correct battery for you. Expansion is another key point worth noting. Some batteries can be easily expanded, which is ideal for future plans, but be careful, as often new versions from the same manufacturers are not always cross-compatible. A weakness that batteries have is they store energy in DC, direct current, but the grid supply is AC, alternating current, so expect conversion losses of around about 10% round trip. Also, to get the most financial benefit from a home battery, a high disparity between standard and off-peak rates is preferable. This is once again a crucial link to the smart tariff. Heat pumps are an incredibly efficient form of heating. 300 to 400% efficiency is commonplace with heat pumps, which makes it massively more efficient than gas boilers, electric radiators, infrared heating solutions, storage heaters. None of those can exceed 100% efficiency. This means for every unit of electricity it produces 3 or 4 times that amount of heat, as what it's really doing is condensing, moving the heat energy from the outside air to a concentrated destination, your home. In the UK, grants are available via the Boiler Upgrade Scheme of up to £7,500 for air-to-water systems and £2,500 for air-to-air systems. They do have weaknesses, however. Firstly, heating just naturally requires awfully large quantities of power. The other key weakness of heat pumps is that its fuel source, electricity, is actually much more expensive than gas, around about 4 times as much, sometimes a little bit more than that. This is where a smart tariff and home batteries can really work wonders for you. The right smart tariff can allow import of a cheap rate. The battery of a correct size can make that cheap energy last, meaning it can be possible to only ever use off-peak energy to power the heat pump. This is how I achieved a total energy cost of £178 for my annual heating and hot water demand, only 33% the equivalent of gas. Smart tariffs are a central point for financial benefit. To maximise your savings, it's best to plan your whole energy strategy around your chosen tariff. Octopus have many of these. Go and Intelligent Go are made for electric cars, with off-peak rates as cheap as 8.5 and 7 pence respectively. They can also power your home batteries and any general household usage. Flux and Intelligent Flux is centered around optimizing battery storage to import and export at specific times. For example, Flux between 4 and 7 p.m. can command a 27.7 pence per kilowatt hour export rate, fair compensation for supporting the grid at its busiest time frame. Cozy, on the other hand, is designed for heat pumps. It has 3 off-peak time frames throughout the day, meaning you're never that far away from an off-peak rate. Some smart tariffs are import only, whereas others both affect import and export rates. There are also agile tariffs which regularly update to reflect wholesale price fluctuations in real time. There are, of course, several providers to choose from, but I recommend Octopus due to their competitive choice of tariffs and great customer service. If you're interested in joining Octopus, I have a link in my description for a referral which gives £50 bill credit for anyone joining. If you use it, I also get £50 bill credit myself, so thanks very much if you do. My key considerations for smart tariffs are these: getting the cheapest possible rates and ensuring you can make it from one off-peak window to the next with minimal need to import in between. The weakness is there's a small possibility it could backfire if used incorrectly. For example, there are times when rates might be slightly higher than standard, so in that instance you very much want to avoid importing during those time frames to avoid eroding any additional savings. What about electric cars? They're an efficient form of transport with no tailpipe emissions. They boast around 80 to 85% thermal efficiency versus internal combustion engine cars, which are around about 30%. They also unlock additional smart tariffs, so Octopus Go and Octopus Intelligent Go require an electric vehicle at the property or a charger. They can benefit from solar. They can charge from sunshine if you have a big enough solar array. They also benefit from home batteries, although I wouldn't recommend using them for a prolonged period of time because they're going to drain the home battery quite substantially given the size difference. Electric vehicle batteries are very, very large. Home batteries typically are quite a bit smaller. The end outcome, if you're able to charge from home, is you might be able to achieve fuel costs as low as 2 pence per mile at an efficiency of around about 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour. With Octopus Intelligent Go, that's 7 pence per kilowatt hour. This means the equivalent journey of London to Edinburgh would cost you around about £8. Let's say I've convinced you that going all electric is a good thing to do. Is there a correct order in which to add each element? Well, of course, it depends on your own usage profile and property type, but let's examine the links. Beyond its own primary benefit and purpose, let's see what tech benefits from the existence of others. Solar panels feed that energy into a battery. It can also be used to power a heat pump during the day if it's a sunny day, and it can give a small amount of power to an electric vehicle if it's plugged in at the property at the time when it's sunny. A battery that can power a heat pump, it can also give a small amount of energy to an electric vehicle, although it will deplete if you leave it plugged in for too long. An electric vehicle, that can unlock additional smart tariffs, so there's some additional benefits there. A smart tariff, of course, that can result in a better solar export rate. It can result in cheaper energy for everything in the household, including the heat pump and of course storing in the battery. And the heat pump, that doesn't really have any additional beneficiaries. The heat pump is more the consumer, but it doesn't give any additional benefits. So for that reason, I would say if it was me, and this is the order I did it in, I went solar, battery, already had the electric vehicles before coming to this property, and obviously the smart tariff at the same time as, always consider that at the same time as the battery and the solar based on usage profiles and generation profiles. But the heat pump, I would probably leave that till last. So to conclude, when considering home energy solutions, solar, home battery, heat pumps, electric vehicles and smart tariffs all have something to offer. But it's the combination of them all in the right quantities that yields the greatest results. Negative energy bills most likely aren't achieved from just one of these. It's the combination. Is it a lot of money? Yes. Starting from scratch, you might very well be looking at £20,000 to £30,000 all in, but a worthwhile investment that improves your home's value and gives you significant savings from day one. You of course don't need to do everything all at once, but understanding that bigger picture of how everything fits together can help you plan your own path to energy independence. Is this a journey you are already on or are planning? Have you had any bad experiences in the past that might put you off? Do you have any questions about my setup or anything covered in today's video? Please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. If you have enjoyed this, please like and subscribe for more home renewable energy content. check out more of my own real-world experiences and guides on my channel. Thank you very much for watching today. Hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.